Happy Saturday, everyone. Today we are going to get started on making a tree of life in a hoop. This is an 8-inch hoop, and I cut my 22 gauge Bencrete wire to 30 inches. Now, it is a little bit long, but just like Marianne, I like to have the option to take everything outside of the hoop. So I'm going to show you how I attach it to the hoop, and I know that Marianne had put a lot of different things in the playlist about actually attaching the wire and different ways to do your roots. But this is my kind of go-to with the wire. First thing I do is I make sure that right here where the hoop is attached to itself, where they did the solder, that it is away from my wire, because it can get kind of ridiculous. So take your wire, bend it in half, and then stick it through the hoop, and then do this and kind of feed it through to itself, and that saves a lot of issues. And then once you get down, you can kind of pull it tight and squish it together. And then you pick it up, and that little piece right there, just kind of push it down. And because it's aluminum wire, all of that happens really, really super easy. So once again, just take your wire in half, put it through the hoop, and then just kind of feed it through. And everything I do, it seems like it's kind of tedious. It's like, So I cut 20 wires at the 30 inches, and I actually already have that prepared. It's right here. And what I'd like to show you right now is these twists. So it looks better if you twist in the same direction, but if you have to flip it for some reason and twist in another direction, the twist, they actually just get lost in the root, so it's okay. So what I do is I hold my index finger at the bottom and then my thumb at the top, and I do 15 half twists. Oh, and this plays havoc on your cuticles too. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how much lotion I use. It's like always putting on lotion. So I did 15 in each, but you can kind of tell that 15 turns kind of depends on the angle that you have the wire. So what happens is I will just go ahead and add more half twists until they're about even. So the angle of your wire will affect how tight those twists are and how long your twist is going to be. So that one is done. Okay, so once you have all 20 wires on and twisted, let's see, make sure my cut is way up here. Okay, good. And then what I do, I have had many issues with the roots and getting the roots to look good. So what I started doing was dividing them into 4 sections of 4, like this. And got 4 there, and then 4 there, and then 4 in the center. So with those 4, I separated into 2s, and holding the wire with my thumb and this is actually my middle finger, and I will start to twist up until I get to the end of the original twist. Almost there. And then go to the next section, double check that it's only 4. I lost that one. Oh goodness. Okay, here we go. Then just kind of move it over and then grab the next 4. And once again, I really choose the aluminum wire because it's easier on my hands. And you know, when you're not a spring chicken, you kind of need that. I'm gonna put in 1 more in that one. Okay, next 4. Again, you're just holding with your finger and your thumb. And then the last one. So once you have all of those twisted like that, came in, and you're going to separate them in half. Oops, I grabbed that one. So this one is going to go in the middle. So your center one is going to go in the middle, and so it looks like that one might need to be twisted up just a hair more to meet those. What I want is to divide it like this and twist. Oops, look at that. So I'm going to bring this one up just a little bit more. You can tell things aren't matching up very good. There we go. That looks better, see? Oh, look at that one. I caught it. So I'm going to bring this one up just a little bit more as well. There we go. And this is the great thing about the aluminum wire. The heat from your hands actually warms it and makes it easier to do these really nice, consistent twists. And I go about halfway up the hoop, maybe just a hair more. So I've got these little bitty roots here, and I'm gonna go ahead and kind of spread them out. Kind of give them a little bit of character there. So once you get to the top, you want to divide your wires into 8 pieces. And so the way I do it is I try to make sure it's all coming from the same direction, and just kind of pull over, starting from the bottom where you can actually see where the wires are coming from. So let's double check. 2, 4, 6, 8. So that section is really good. Now we'll come to this side and see how these wires are kind of coming off the side here. I'm going to go ahead and grab those ones first. So we have those 2. And it's easier when you're trying to pick from the bottom, it seems, than if you're about halfway up. That doesn't seem to work nearly as well. Okay, double check. My hands have a ton of hand lotion on them, so it's like the wires are very slick. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do these 4 wires and add 4 wires to that. I think these 4 will work. Look at that. Just beautiful. Double check. Yep, 8 wires. So we're good there. Now we'll do the top. And I'm just watching the bottom to make sure that I'm grabbing wires that are kind of already together. And this one should have 8 in it. Oh. Where did we lose a wire at? There we go. That one. Yep, that goes. Okay. Eight, 8, 8. Okay, so, and on the back side, oh, it's not perfect, but once we start twisting, all of that will be hid. So we'll start on this side, and you divide the wires into 4 at this point. So 4 and 4. And you will hold your index finger and your thumb right there on the tree. And then you're gonna start twisting. And at this point, your twist direction, it should all be the same direction, because it will be much more visible at this point. See how I'm still holding the tree, making sure things aren't moving. And I think I'm putting in about 6 twists with each one. And these are all the tips and tricks that Marianne taught us, because let me tell you what, I think I would have twisted off many, many branches if she hadn't have shown us how to do this. So if you're new and you know, you want to go back and look at some of the ways that she had done things, she does a great job, and she is such an excellent teacher. So once you're out at this point and everything is divided, and so now you're at branches that are 4 and 4, what I do is I take those and I divide them into 2. Because what I want is, when I put in the beading that we will be doing next, I want to be able to see some of that tree. And typically when I'm doing the trees, I will do my tree shape first, and then I will do the beading. But because I'm here doing this stuff with you guys, I did just some pre-planning and just did things a little bit different and mixed it up, and this has been a lot of fun. And so when I'm holding it, I'm holding it to give it integrity and to keep the heat from my hands moving through the wire, and that keeps it like super pliable. And I have other wires here, so get those out of my way. And just go all the way around, and we're just wrapping in those 2s. Breaking it up a little bit. And yes, this is still the Bencrete wire. Excuse my voice today. About 3 years ago, we moved from up north down to Mississippi. And I gotta tell you, I'm still getting used to all the pollens down here. It's kind of crazy. Most of the time, I feel like I'm a little bit of a fish out of water. So as you can tell, you know, once you get those bottom wires on, getting your tree to the point where you have good branches, nice solid branches, it doesn't take any time at all. I mean, this part actually goes very quickly. I think probably the most time-consuming thing is getting those bottom branches on and getting those initial twists done. But this is kind of where the excitement happens. So once I'm to this point, I will set this aside and I will start beading for you. So with my beads, you know, I followed Marianne's advice and I went and got the beads, and I think her favorite is the Dowarm beads. It's D-O-W-A-R-M, and they have a really good selection. Their prices are really good as well, and I keep my beads in bags, and then I also label my bags to where I got them, because a lot of times I will order beads and I won't like the color or something that I have too much of or whatever, and I will return them. Most of the time it's the color. It's, yeah. But I want to know who has the good colors. And so Dowarm does not have all of the colors that I use, but they have a lot. And so and they're pretty quick getting you stuff. But I make little piles, especially with this gradient stuff. And having something soft to work on that kind of keeps the beads in place is so wonderful. Oh my goodness. So these wires are 16 inches long, and they are also the Bencrete wire and the 22 gauge. And the way I do this is just put a little down there after you fold it in half. And so the first one is you're just basically setting your pattern. And so you're going to bead both sides of the wire. And yeah, maybe this is what takes the longest time, is doing all these. I know yesterday I spent a few hours back here just working on that and trying to get going, and I was like, I can't stop. So I think I went to bed around 11. Oh, that's way too late for me. Okay. So once you have them like this, put your finger in the middle and twist until the beads meet at the bottom. And I always put in 3 half twists. And then what we're going to do is just layer this like this. So we're going to start with the yellow and go to that deep dark red. And then we're going to go from the deep dark red back to the yellow. Oops, there I go, trying to grab the wrong bead. So I'm only going to do one of these with you because I already have everything all made up. But yeah, maybe this one for the gradients is more time consuming than doing the other trees, just because it's one bead at a time. You know, I don't pick them up and put them in my hands or anything like that. So let's see, the other wire is still over here empty. And then what I do is, when I get my colors on there, I use my finger and kind of push that up, and then I make a bend. And then that part that's up is going to be my twist part. So I will just twist those all together. And when you're doing big leaves and you have so many beads on here, let's see, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 beads on here. You need room for the leaf, otherwise it's going to look really crowded. So now you'll notice that you have a long wire and a short wire. So then you just flip it and you're going to be working on this side, the long wire. And you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to go the yellow all the way to the dark red. And then get the yellow through the dark red and then back again. Go. I did do a video last night and it was one of those time lapse. Oh my goodness. I put those puppies together fast. So got my second twist in. Now straighten your wires out, and then I put in 3 more half twists. And then the wire should be about the same length. So at this point, we're just going to do one more time on both sides. And then back again. I pushed it up just a hair, gives us room to twist. And then you flip the wires, so now they're on the opposite sides. We're gonna do this side. And last bead. And give myself some room right there. And then, when I'm all done, I put in 3 more half twists. And voila. So let me get these beads put away real quick. And I am putting the beads that I am using, the links to Amazon, so that you can get them for yourselves if you choose to use these colors. And like I said, Duorm has most of these colors, so it'll make it pretty easy just to go ahead and just buy from them. But if you've been beading a while, you know, you may have your own colors. Wouldn't it be great if they just picked up like a little bead vacuum? Would separate them by colors for you? I'm always inventing things in my head. It's like, this would be nice. sorry you have to watch me pick up beads. So while I'm doing this, I'll just tell you, Mississippi has been quite the education being down here. You know, being from the north, we don't have a lot of things that they have down here, like cicadas. It's the biggest bug I've ever seen in my life. I think last year we had like 2 or 3 different types of cicadas come out of the ground. I think that's where they live. And they fly around and they're huge and they eat your plants. I don't think they bite people, but... And then the snakes. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm not a snake person. Snakes freak me out. So there's so many different kinds of snakes down here. My husband was mowing yesterday and found this huge snake skin. It's like, you know, that's a little too close to the house for me. So, anyways, okay, so now we have our tree. And I don't break the branches from the 2 because I like the integrity that working with 2 of the aluminum wires gives us. And then what I had done was I had taken 2 different leaves and I had twisted them together. And that's just about 3 twists. So you put your finger in like this, and then you start twisting. And that was about 7, I think. And then you kind of look and see where it's gonna lay. Now what I do is after I know that it's got a good amount of wire in it, these ones aren't my best ones, but we're gonna use them, is I just go ahead and trim those little pieces off from the leaves. There we go. And then your next section will go in right behind that, right where you left off. And just hold it with your finger and your thumb. And then what you want to do is, well, make sure your tree is going to be straight to begin with. So that looks like maybe I'll get in 2 or 3 more twists. Let's try it again. And that's one thing that Marianne taught me just in watching her, is that she is always watching where she's putting in different branches. It's and her trees always come out so amazingly beautiful. I've definitely had some fails, and it's because, you know, I didn't pay attention to the things that she was doing well enough, I'm sure of that. But going back and watching her video going, okay, what did I do wrong? And then I'll look and I'll be like, oh, yeah, I just wasn't paying attention to where I was putting things. So I wrap around twice, and I try to keep my wires so that they are nice and neat in a row. And all that slack that you see there will come out when you start shaping your branches, as in putting your bends and twists in, and then also shaping the beads on the leaves. So, and then back up, and then down. And yeah, I do have wasted wire, but I saved these, and we'll do something with these in another video where we'll make some flowers, because those are spectacular. And then we go to our next one. Now these ones I'm going to go ahead and shape because they're the bottom ones. and they're taking a lot of my room. And I kind of like that full look. And I like it where it's coming over the side, you know, and kind of hiding the hoop. Not that the hoop is ugly, but I definitely like just the fullness of it all. So we're just going to continue on like that. So we're gonna do this first branch in total, and then we're gonna go and do these two over here. And yes, I absolutely know that it looks like a little crowded once you start doing this. And I like to do one side and then the other side, and that way it helps me keep a nice balance in my tree. And I did do 40 sets of leaves. Well, this will be 41, the one I did with you guys. But so I did 40 sets, and then I twisted them together, so I ended up with 20 sets. So it will work out perfect on the tree. I always get a little ahead of myself and start messing with things before I should. You know what? I'm gonna put in a couple more twists. So just holding and supporting my work. Making sure, let's see. Don't want a crooked tree. I mean, it can be crooked, but we don't want it to look off center. So let's put in a few more twists. And I don't know about you guys, but you know, before I started doing trees, I would always look at them, like in the novelty shops, especially like when you're traveling and stuff, they have them, and I'd be like, oh, those are so pretty. And then you'd look at the price of them, and you'd be like, oh, those are so expensive. Since I started making trees, I now understand why people want to get paid for their time and all of that. My goodness. This is a lot of effort and a lot of time. And I'm assuming, just because of this community, that most people who make trees actually care about their artwork. And once again, we're saving those ones. Put the tiny ones on that side. Kind of arrange our little branches here. And they won't necessarily stay in this position. When we get this side done and start bringing everything together, definitely see that we can pull these branches up and put some like twists in them and bend them to tighten everything up and make it look really nice. You know what, I'm gonna bring this guy out just a little bit more so they don't look exactly the same. Half the reason for using this beautiful wire is because it is beautiful wire. Not as pretty as the beads, but yeah, the wire is really pretty. I'm just untucking these, and so I can bring these two wires together. Clip those off. Oh, might put in a few more twists. Yeah, and what I found too is this Bin Crate wire, which, you know, they're not sponsoring us. It really does and is very forgiving. So if you mess up, I mean, you can't do it too many times, but you can unwind and try it again. Especially, you know, when you're using the 2 wires over the 1 wire. And see how nice and neat that looks. And then I just cut the back. And I do have a secret for what I do on the back to hold everything in place. But we'll get to that later. Again, saving those. Let's go ahead and fluff these guys out so they can kind of get out of our way a little bit. I love these colors. This color combination is my personal favorite. So once again, I'm doing like 7 twists. And then trimming off those little tails of wire. Oh, let's do this. Let's take this one up there and trim it. Let's bring it out just a couple more. That'll work. Yeah, and I bring the twist out to the hoop. So give it a little tug. You know that you're either at the hoop or you're a little shy and you know if you need to put in another twist or not. Okay. Let's look at this. That one and put him that way. This one might end up coming up here just a little bit. What do you guys think? That looks pretty good so far. I'm happy with it. All right, so this guy, and this guy. So maybe I'll put in 2 more twists on here. And the reason I'm doing that, let's kind of see where this is gonna lay and where I'm gonna be able to spread it out. So if it was down here, nope, I really want to show off some of the wire. And you know, that's one thing that Marianne talks about quite a bit, is that when you're doing the trees, they're gonna do what they want to do, regardless of what you want them to do. And I think that that is very true. I have not, let's see, I've probably made oh, probably close to 30 trees down. Successfully. How about 30 trees successfully? And not one of them has the same shape or design. It's like, yeah, the trees kind of do what they're gonna do. Okay, so that just kind of eyeball. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if it's perfect for you, that's good enough. We're gonna push that down with a pair of pliers later, but see how nice and neat that is right there? I like it. Some notes. That looks really good. Totally loving that colors. So what I'm noticing right here is as the leaves are landing, let me get this guy fixed real quick. As the leaves are landing, I am going to have kind of a gap right here. So I'm bringing this twist up just a little bit more than I had with the other one. And that way, when I bring this guy around, he'll kind of fill in that spot. I don't care if the wires show, I just don't want big blank spots in my tree. I want it to be a true sun catcher. That one worked out really well. Yeah, and the wire, it'll poke you, but it's so soft you can just bend it out of your way. So I love that too about working with the aluminum. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put that guy in right here because we're running out of room. Don't want to run out of twist room. So once again, you can see as I'm twisting, just kind of coming up like that. Yeah, feeding the wires. So I did 40 and ended up being 20 sets. That was definitely the most time consuming, but it is also the most satisfying. Sometimes they don't always like to lay like I want them to. So warm them up, squish them together, and make them do what you want them to do. All right. See how pretty this is? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love the colors. Yeah, tell me to stop fiddling with it. Say wait till later. Yeah. Alright, I am going to put in a couple more twists because I see that we're going to have a little spot right there that we need to fill in. And no matter where we move the branches, we're going to have that little spot. So this one's already spread apart, so we're going to use him. That's good. That's good. Well, I am pleasantly surprised, you guys, that this tree is turning out this good when this is like my first tutorial ever on YouTube. And if I'm missing something or not explaining something enough, if you guys wouldn't mind just letting me know, I really would appreciate it. Because I'm very happy to be sharing this craft and, you know, doing something that hopefully will help out the channel and help us grow. Oh, that wire decided it was going to go the wrong direction. See how fast it goes? It's pretty incredible. Okay, so once again, blank spot, about in the same spot it was last time. I don't know what's up with this side, but you know what? It's going to be awesome. And I do count everything in half turns. I think it's just way easier to do that and kind of keep track of what you're doing. I'm going to put in a couple more twists. In the playlist, there is a full tutorial also on how to make the leaves. Marianne had done, I mean, her playlist is very substantial. She has a lot on there and a lot of things that are different and different ways of doing things, you know. And one of the things that she always says is, you know, make it work for you and your style and, you know, your functionality in your hands. So that itself is pretty great. Oops, wrong file. Alrighty. Yeah. Okay. Guys, this is gonna turn out so awesome. a couple more twists, so this one, let's turn it. So that'll fill in that hole, but we're gonna have a hole right there. Couple more. And that works. And then cut off those baby wires. These ones you just have to be kind of careful of because of the way you're turning them. Very easy to break off a leaf because those are single wires. And just watch me just grab them and throw them around. It's like, nope, don't do what I do. That was silly. Don't do that. Okay, so now what we're doing is just kind of looking at where we are going to have a blank spot. But I'm gonna pull all these up a lot more. And then I'm also gonna put some bends in there. So. And I'm sorry if you're not able to see everything that I'm doing. I will get better at this. Why? Because I love it. And if I can show somebody how actually easy it is to put together a beautiful tree and, you know, create something for somebody that you love. And that's exactly what I do. Mine are just gifts. You know, you can buy the kids' toys and all that, and then in a couple of years they just get rid of them. But, you know, this is something that can hang in their window until, you know, they move out and they're on their own and they get their own windows. Bring those two back around like that. And these two, kind of run them into each other like that, because it is the top branch. So I am just adjusting all of the branches so that they are closer to the top. Filling in some of those gappy spots. I really don't like to mess with the branches too much after I get everything set. I'm just always worried about breaking one off. So, anyways, what do you think? That looks good. So once I get done doing that, I flip it over. And this is where handy dandy pliers come in handy. So you see I have them wrapped. They're not wrapped over like Marianne does. That is just a wonderful technique, but I do something else with these wires. So I'll show you in a minute what I do. and any other pokey wires. At this point, you can just use your pliers and push them down, because the last thing you want is something scratching a window. So just kind of go through it and look and see if you have anything that's poking out. And then start twisting your branches, making them look like real branches. And this one right here is really loose. So take some big twist in there. Oh, see that? Oh yeah, this will take big bends. There we go. That one I just pushed in with my hands, you guys. It was just amazing how easy it is. They look better, a lot better with a lot of you know, tweaking to them. See, over on this side, bring some of these out. Cover those branches. So then we just have this guy. And this will be our final one because we put in so many back there. So nice and tight, right? Now, one thing I need to caution you about, and I learned this the hard way, is if you are going to be gluing these, the type of glue you use. So some glue, as it's drying, it gases out and it will frost your beads. It's horrible. So they'll lose all of that sparkly shininess. And it's not just the back of the beads, it's the front. Hard lesson. So the Loctite super glue, it doesn't gas out. It doesn't put, there we go, dropping it. It doesn't put the frosting on there. It's just crazy. So you just need a little bit. Once this is dry, which it usually takes about 24 hours, you guys, but once it's dry, I go back over with the hot glue gun and I will hot glue them on. So they're double glued. And I do the hot glue just so that if one of these were to come loose, it's not going to be scraping against somebody's window. So I just do it just as kind of like a little buffer between the wire and the window, just in case. Anyways, I'm gonna let this dry, and then I will post the final probably later today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really appreciate it. And again, you know, you got questions, or you know, if I forgot to talk about something, please let me know. I'm so happy to help, and I'm just learning too, so it would be great to know. Thank you. Bye-bye.